It's on.
It's on. Well, it's Sunday and I'm here eating a chocolate biscuit because I'm eating my feelings. This is something a lady told me a couple of years ago. She said, what you're doing is eating your feelings. And I'm eating my feelings because I'm an older geezer now, and I've just seen one of the scenes that we've got from our American friends, and it's what we're going to call the swimsuit edition. And it's one for the ladies, as they say, because there's a really handsome guy rubbing down some resin in the water. Now, that might sound specialist, and it probably is, but I'm eating. I've given up on my diet. I'm going to eat chocolate now because there's no point, because I'll never be that again. I dare say he's probably just a normal youth man.
Yeah, he is.
I'm well past normal youth now, so I'm just going to give in.
You're going to eat chocolate?
I'm going to eat chocolate, mate.
It's no point, is
I can't hold back the tide. I'm not King Canute, mate.
No.
It's simple as.
So well done, Steve.
Oh, I'm Steve. I've gone for undermining my...
Complete diet, Steve.
Undermine my diet in seconds, mate. I'm gone. I'm thinking no point anymore. It was like watching Chicago Fire, mate.
Anyway, my name's Dave, and this is Bill.
I'm Bill.
Welcome to another episode of UKGK TV.
I'm kind of relieved to be here, to be honest with you, because I'm undergoing a time of personal rediscovery, because I've realised all the things that people love me for, they hate me for it as well. So this is my haven.
Yeah, so
this is my haven.
I think that's just about finished Bill off seeing the
I can't do it anymore, mate.
The American segment. Bill's on a strict diet and he's just gone, forget it.
Too much weight, I've got no teeth.
Forget it.
Can't get a decent haircut. I'm stopping now. I'm gonna come one of those old blokes that you see walking around with his Zimmer frame in the supermarket, not actually buying anything, just squeezing the apples.
Like Clint Eastwood sitting there with his gun.
With his gun on the porch.
Get off the lawn.
Get off the lawn.
Yeah, we're going to do that, aren't we?
Oh,
anyway, back to cinema. That's it, you've done now, aren't you?
Done now, mate. I'm just going to go home.
Well, that's it.
Go home, bye, lads. I'm going to go home and get under the duvet and cry myself to sleep.
That's later for you ladies. That'll be later for you ladies.
Later.
First of all, we've got a few things to do a bit of housework to do before we start in the episode.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few messages asking about killer kits, particularly Andy Copeland's sculptures and busts. Are they available as an STL? Simple answer, no.
No.
Anything that Andy does for himself or him, it's just done as they're just standard kits or hybrid kits.
Yeah.
So,
well, Andy's a perfectionist, isn't he?
Yeah.
And what he likes is this: he generates the image three-dimensionally, beautifully, and he's done it by hand as well. So there's no doubt in his veracity here. He makes the kit, he prints out a master copy,
and then we mould it.
Brings it to Killer Kits, who then mould it out of resin, good quality, solid, stable resin. Mm-hmm. One of the reasons Andy doesn't want to give STL files away, first of all, he doesn't want his work to be out in the public domain for anybody to copy. Mm-hmm. But secondly, he knows that the casting process to use the Killer Kits, or any of the main casters, they use good quality techniques and resin. So when you get his outcomes, they're in completely stable form, aren't they?
Yeah.
Because we know ourselves when we're printing stuff that sometimes the resin doesn't set, or you get leaks and seeps and stuff like that. And it just doesn't feel as robust, does it?
Andy's preference. Andy likes to see his stuff in a physical form.
Yeah.
He uses the 3D sculpting technique, which is completely different from the files. Yeah. So the simple answer, guys, before we go any further, is Killer Kits do not provide STL files for sale. So if you want the thing, we can do it for you, but we don't provide the file. And I hope you guys get that. You know, we can get that across in a nice, polite manner, but that's the way it is, guys. Yeah. So I'm sorry, it's not likely to change in the future, but if it does, we'll let you know. But no.
Yeah, the other thing that I want to say today as well is about the date of the show, because I was sitting there the other day doing some work on an instruction sheet, which we'll go back to later, because this kit
that one
needs an instruction sheet. It is something I'm close to my heart.
Yeah.
This kit that's going to be released at the show is absolutely so much of a knockout that
needed to do it, didn't you?
I needed to do an instruction sheet for it because there's that many pieces and it's got that many items featured in it.
Yeah.
I thought, I've got to draw this, because I would sit down and draw it anyway. It's an absolute magnificent piece of kit.
Yeah, more about that.
More about that later. But the date of the show, for anybody that hasn't read it somewhere else, because a lot of you will be saying, because I did, because I thought, well, yeah, it's in September, but when? It's on the 28th of September, which is a Saturday. And When does it open? Does the doors open
It's
at
10 till 4.
10 till 4.
Approximately two calendar months off now.
Yes, that's right. So
probably about 8 weeks, which is really scary. Because there's a lot of pre-orders I've got to do before we get there. I have been speaking, another exclusive that you'll get on the channel is there is going to be an exclusive T-shirt available on the day. And that's going to be, it's been designed by myself, Neil and Mick. That's going to be available this year. Everybody asked for a T-shirt. We're going to do a T-shirt for this show. It's a UKG and a Killer Kits T-shirt. So there's going to be 2 sets of a powerless. That's something else. You've heard it first here. So that's going to happen. That's Mick's doing the printing and Neil and myself are designing the shirt. So we should have them. I'd like to just say a few things before we get stuck into the programme. We've got quite a busy programme. Big thank out to a guy called Mike who's recently ordered stuff for me. I've had a really mad week, Mike, with my car and all sorts of other things. You know when you get in a position where you get orders in and you think you're being clever and you think, right, I'm ahead of the game here, so I'll send this order out. So I sends this order out. The guy gets it, he goes, yeah, that's really, really good. But I didn't order it. I'm like, oh my God. Mike, just what sorts. And thanks a lot, Mike. You've been so understanding. Your other stuff's ready to go now. And the guys whose initial order it was. It's my fault. Human error. I got the 2 mixed up. We'll make good on that. We're working through that. Another big thank you is to a gentleman that's been in the hobby for so long. And he's such a nice guy. And he always comments and he always promotes us. And he always promotes Killer Kits. He always promotes everybody. He's a guy called Buckwheat. Buckwheat's got a model site. It's one of the most informative sites you can go on. So if you need to, it's like a catalogue. So it's better than a catalogue. In fact, every kit we've done is probably on there. And it's called Buckwheat's model site. Go over, check it out, guys. This guy, he doesn't get paid for doing this. He tirelessly does it. And he always puts everybody's stuff up there without any prejudice whatsoever.
Is it a kind of almost like an online library of kits?
It is. He does it in years, and he does little spotlight sections. He's a really, really nice guy. He always takes the time to watch the video. He always takes the time to post stuff. He's a genuine pioneer of the hobby. He's such a nice guy, and he always comments and supports us. And he supports everybody, not just UK companies. He supports everybody. So big shout out to you, Buck. I hope you're all right, mate. Thanks for all the support. And Mike, don't worry, I'm in hand with your order. We are addressing it. Hopefully things will calm down next week. So we've got the swimsuit edition later by the guys from the States. You girls, this is one for the ladies later on, I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, as much as it disappoints us all, we are going to remain fully clothed, don't we?
Yeah, we're going to remain.
We don't want to give these lads any competition.
No, we don't. It's like the Chippendales, isn't it?
Chippendales, yeah.
Chip and Dale. More like Chip and Dale.
Dale.
More like Chip and Dale than the Chippendale.
Chip and Dale.
But we'll spare you guys the dad bods for us.
Yeah.
We'll let you do it on the hulks later.
A lot of people aren't ready for it.
Not just at the minute. I don't think we've got that over 18s.
Certificate rating.
Not just at the minute.
This is advisory content.
Yeah. What have we got today,
Well, I come in here sometimes, and obviously it's always a joy because it's like coming to Aladdin's cave. It's like something out of a Harryhausen when Sinbad bursts into the cave and he sees all the jewels around himself. And then there's a monster in the background lurking, ready to be animated. But when I come into here, obviously there's new stuff on the table every week, and it's either new stuff or it's stuff that's been recast or whatever from the originals, and I'm looking at them and thinking, that's really good, I forgot that existed. But sometimes I actually see the odd box lying around, and there's 2 little treats we got today. First of all,
Golden Oldies.
Some 2 golden oldies. One is incredible, and it just goes to show that even in the past, people really did pull out all the stops.
Yeah.
And we've got one that you've presented to me, which is a kind of mystery in a box.
Well, what we've decided to do today is we've done some old stuff. I've given Bill a couple of old kits in the old caramelly type resin from the 90s. One from the UK, one from the US. Now, these kits, I don't think they're available. We managed to acquire these through separate people. Big shout out to Paul for one of them. And the other one we acquired through another person, which we can't remember. But we're going to show you guys of what the golden oldies that were out when we first started. Then we're going to do new releases, and then we're going to chat a little bit about the specials for the show. So first up is...
Well, should we go with this one? This is Jamie Salmon, isn't it?
Jamie Salmon's from Plan 9. This was out in the 90s.
This.
How good's that?
It's what a lot of people call the wall hanger, but in this case it
goes on the door, the centre part of the door. Where
it fits nicely into what 4, 5, 6 panel door, 6 panel door, a traditional English 6 panel door, or the traditional European 6 panel door, and this actually fits nicely into the panel.
Nicholson,
Jack Nicholson from The Shining.
Here's Johnny.
Here's Johnny. It perhaps doesn't show as well as it could because of the colour of the resin, but that is a fantastic likeness. It's uncanny, and I'd say it's 1-to-1. That isn't it? It's full
life size. All you guys that used to watch the TV back in the day will remember this was behind the guy called Chris Evans on the TGI Friday.
TGI Friday, yeah.
So it was behind him, so it got massive publicity.
In fact,
then
that was one of his. Here's Johnny was one of his sayings.
Yeah. So basically, that's one of his.
2 parts.
So it's 2 parts.
That's completely solid.
Yeah.
Very nice piece of rendering for the timber. And this is slush cast, isn't it?
Slush cast. It's like old caramelly resin. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember this. This is the standard colour at the time, wasn't it?
Yeah.
For like raw resin. And what happens? You make a mould, and then you just go like this, and you rotate the mould until the resin swirls around and
Forms like a skin, doesn't it?
Forms a skin. It's a little bit like
hit and miss, isn't it?
It is hit and miss because you can't really control the thickness of the resin. There are parts here which are really, really thick, and other parts which are incredibly flimsy. I mean, I suppose the best way to do this now would be to foam fill.
Yeah.
Squirt the foam on the back of that, and it would make it more solid for the door.
Yeah. I mean, this has been around for a while. There's companies in the Far East that recast this. This is an original.
You can see the light shining through various parts there, but if you look at the detail on that chin and teeth, it's amazing.
Superb. I spoke to Jamie about taking this over a while ago, and then all of a sudden it turned up on all the cheap Japanese sites as a knockoff, and I thought, I'm not sure whether this is a goer, guys, because it's going to, it's all over the place.
I suppose it's one of the pitfalls of modern technology. Obviously, even here, you use the modern technology to get things out a little bit cheaper, a little bit quicker, but it also means that anything that's been produced is out there is fair game for the pirates. Really.
What's that website that they call that cheap
Timu?
Yeah,
Timu.
They do. That's the one. They kind of do. They kind of do something similar to this. I think very similar. Be a bookcase thing.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
Polystyrene backed, wouldn't it?
I'm not.
Skin on it, maybe a vacuum form or something.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether it's a direct copy of it, but it looks very close.
Yeah, they've probably stolen the head section.
Yeah, I don't think there's quite as much showing of the head on the Timu one or whatever. I've seen it on there, guys.
The panels are close.
So we were talking, if enough people ask us for this after the video, then obviously I'll go back and speak to Jamie, see if we can come up with something. But it's a nice piece.
It's a nice piece to have if you want.
It's really nicely done. This was out in the 90s from Jamie Salmons, and it was Plan 9, I believe.
Plan 9. And so if you're worried about your interior decor, and this is only suitable for those of you with a panel door.
Yeah.
So if you've got a flat oak door, forget it, man. Forget it.
Go get yourself down B&Q, get a door.
B&Q, get a door for this.
Yeah. Next up?
Well, the next up is something I saw on the way through, and I was just fascinated by it because it reminded me in style a little bit of an artist called Bernie Wrightson that died about 18 months, 2 years ago.
You're about the Frankenstein.
And it's the Frankenstein kit where Frankenstein is in like a bath, isn't he? He's in like a laboratory.
It's kind of coming out.
It's coming out the bath like this, and Wrightson had a particularly interesting,
like a drawn out one.
Yeah, it was an engraved style to his drawings, and a lot of his work was put into 3 dimensions by various people. Now this is a bit of a rarity, I would suggest.
I believe so. I mean, it's difficult to get. I remember the history of this particular kit is I sold this to a gentleman called Paul back in the day at Menlo, which is probably going to be next week's episode, and then Paul's got back into it via the videos, and now he sold it back to me. So we kind of got this, and I wanted to review it. It's massive chunk of kit
Just
there.
Look at that. It's like some kind of Japanese Netsuke ivory carving, particularly with the old-fashioned colour of the resin.
It's like that.
It's got an absolute artistic feel to it, hasn't it? It's got
Lovely,
a real...
isn't it?
It's like we were saying about Wrightson's engraving style. This looks like it's been engraved. It's absolutely beautiful. Now, this is only the base, isn't it?
This is the Marilyn Manson Antichrist, is it?
Yeah, I think it's Marilyn Manson as the Antichrist. And was it Neverworld that would you release?
Neverworld did this, and this was a gentleman called Paul Komodo. That's the way it goes.
It goes on like that?
Yeah, so it's the wrong way round.
Is it on the wrong way round?
No, I mean, the kit's
the kit's the wrong way. Anyway.
If I hold that like that. And that goes there. So he's kind of leaning forward.
He's clearly leaning forward.
Now there's a reason why he's at the beginning. Is it that side of it?
Yeah, because he's actually alighting, isn't he? He's actually got wings.
Yeah.
And you can see that's one of the wings. Obviously, there's another wing for the other side. which fits on there. It's quite an old kit, so some of it's like broken. But I just want to show you the detail on the outer wing there. Look at the feather detail. I mean, it's obviously the angel of death or the angel of, I don't know, evil or whatever.
Antichrist.
The Antichrist himself. So if you look inside there, you've got that lovely bone section, which looks almost like a fossil somehow. It looks like an Archaeopteryx fossil to me. You know, put me fossil collector's head on. Look at that, some beautiful sculpture in
Lovely,
there.
Isn't it? I mean, the casting is of its day, unfortunately. I mean, if you're looking there, you guys that complain about casting nowadays.
Clean up. There'll be a lot of clean up on this.
There's a lot of clean up on it. But that's, unfortunately, that was standard for the day, so it was kind of no worse or no better than anyone that was out in the day. I think
I certainly, if I'd have got this, I would not have Netherworld. I would never have. I would not have complained. I've not complained. I'd have just got my finger out.
Wow, that's 24 years old.
24 years old,
and that's
still good.
And that was designed by Joe Mendoza. I think so. And it was sculpted by Joe. There it is. There you go, Joe Cole. Yeah,
John Cole.
John Cole. So that was it was sculpted by guys, and it's got the Netherworld 1999. So that gives it your date. I sold this to Paul in the day, and Paul's actually fetched it back, and we've got it back, which is good. So I thought I'd just give it a quick review.
Yeah.
So that's the Netherworld one, guys. This one is.
Can I just show them the bits?
Yeah.
Right. These days, this little pack would have been full of printed parts.
Yeah.
But these are the super detailed parts that you can't really cast because they would have been cold shuts. All the little tiny bits in here, there are some little separate resin bits, but also there's some white metal parts in there. And white metal would be what you would use for very detailed stuff that you didn't want to break. Anything that was taking a little bit of weight, perhaps.
Yeah.
Very similar to the old Warhammer figures originally with white metal, weren't they?
Yeah.
It's used in they use a rotor caster for these. It spins around,
the metal goes.
Obviously, the disadvantage of it is it's hot when it goes in, and if the mould breaks, you get a lot of spray, don't you?
Yeah.
But this is a good example of it kind of proves its vintageness because I mean, if anybody's ever tried to glue resin and white metal together, it's not the easiest thing, is it? I mean, epoxy. Would you say epoxy resin?
If you see one of these guys, it's a rarity now.
Grab
it. I say, grab it. I got it because Paul got in touch with me, and I decided, it takes me back to the day when, in the 90s when we first started. So I kind of got it for nostalgia purposes. Yeah. So big shout out to Paul for that. We're going on now to the new stuff.
Yeah, new stuff.
So we've got a couple of bits and pieces here. Bill decided he was going to go back over these because we've moved over to the grey stuff. So he's going to quickly do these two.
We talked endlessly about the colour of resin and how sometimes it's better, sometimes if it's slashed, if you're painting a white kit, or sometimes it's better generally like with a grey kit because it feels like it's pre-coated, doesn't it?
It looks like it's got more detail, doesn't it? The lightness comes out
this
more.
kit, I've always kind of liked it, but never really appreciated it, and it's always been available in white before, hasn't it? White resin.
It was available in originally came out caramelly resin when my kit did it for Shapeshifters, and then it went. And then it ended up being in like a cold cast. Well, we've remastered it now. It's
been around a few years, this hasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's still very, very relevant, and I really like it now. It's in grey, and it's Ingrid Pitt, who is a very famous Hammer actress. Somebody I have to confess, as a teenage boy, I doted over.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, God, yeah, she was lovely. Her famous film is obviously Countess Dracula, but she was in The Vampire Lovers and all of these things.
I think that's Vampire Lovers, isn't it?
That's The Vampire Lovers. That's her in a official school night dress. So she was at school. She was about 34, but she was at school.
Fair play. I
bet she failed her exams, mate. She was distracted.
Yeah, I wonder why.
But seriously though, in grey, it's given it a new.
The lightness is superb, isn't it?
The lightness is really good, particularly. You see, because a lot of people would look at this and think the features were slightly exaggerated. But one of the things about very beautiful women at certain points in their life is, like Sophia Loren, Raquel Welch, their features do look exaggerated, and that's their cinematic appeal because they show up really well on the film.
Yeah.
Later on when you see them, you think, oh, well, maybe not as beautiful as I thought. They're actually very angular or whatever. But she was one of those women, it was a very natural beauty.
She's a lovely looking woman.
Lovely looking woman, incredibly intelligent, massively complex backstory to her, escaping prison camps in the Second World War. Gosh, her backstory is fascinating.
This was sculpted by a lady called Claire Pearson. Claire Pearson was part of the Shapeshifters team with Mike Hill, legendary Mike Hill. Claire, very underrated. She did the Gotham by Gaslight, Batman, which is a beautiful piece, which is one by myself. I'll try and do one of them for the next time. And this was part. The only thing I was kind of threw me with this is it's out of scale with the other ones, the Christopher Lee and the Mummy, etc. But that doesn't detract from it. No, it doesn't
detract from it. It's still
is it out of scale? Do you think?
Yeah, I think it does.
It looks slightly larger, doesn't it?
It is slightly larger. When you put them together, it doesn't look quite like a set.
Yeah.
Because it is much bigger than that.
But do you think they're trying to get the effect of?
Well, it's the effect of the movement of the arms. It's got a very, very three-dimensional feel to it.
Lovely piece.
And I think as she started to sculpt it, perhaps with the angle of the head and stuff, I mean, you can't really get away. It would look quite odd if it was a lot of bust is like truncated, but with her arms being up like that.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I think that gives it such a really kind of naturalistic feel that you wouldn't get from perhaps just her head and shoulders. And there are other head and shoulders versions of her around, aren't they?
I quite like that one. I like it more now it's in grey.
Oh, yeah, like I say, it really was perked it up being in grey. I looked at it and thought, I've seen that. That's there. About 2-3 months ago, we did a white version when we did a hammer, didn't we? But this looks really, really different.
And I like the way, and what we did is we refreshed it and we tidied it all up and remastered it so that there was no... it was easier to produce by taking this hand off here. So we took that hand off, and it's a nice little fit. And as Bill's just showed you, it just
balances on just right.
And basically, you just glue it, spot a glue round. Obviously, otherwise it would have been an absolute nightmare to cast.
And I think as well, when you look at her cheekbones and stuff like that, and the end of her nose, it's just amazing. But it's worth having a look at her back catalogue because it's like a lot of actresses from horror movies who are famous for horror movies and actors, Christopher Lee, Peter Cushing, Ingrid Pitt, those kind of actresses. If you actually look at their back catalogue and see them in something that wasn't a horror movie, it gives you a bit of chance to sit back and think about them as real actors. And she was in several sort of war films from the late 50s, early 60s, where she obviously played the resistance fighter or whatever, or even the German, even though she probably didn't have much love for the Nazi party, really, because this is one of the reasons she ended up in England. So this actress is well worth a look. I think she was classic. I think Countess Dracula might not be a classic all-time movie for the dramatic effect, but for me, Countess Dracula is one of
your faves,
best horror movies. Yeah, because it without putting my political head on it, it shows just how much. Just shows how much that the aristocracy used to get away with in Europe between sort of the Middle Ages and the end of the sort of 18th century. These people just did what they liked. And if you read up the story of Countess Dracula, as portrayed, it's Elizabeth Bathory. If you look at Elizabeth Bathory's life and read it, you'll think, blimey, is this real? Really good story. But anyway, have a look at that.
You got big. Next one, mate.
So, next one is a Paul Fay. And we reviewed this recently just before we went off to HorrorCon.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and it's got a lot of interest at HorrorCon, didn't it? Especially amongst the younger viewers, so to speak, because it is relative. It's based on a video game. It's
Fallout.
It's the sheriff from Fallout, and we saw the original of this, and we saw some that were painted for the show. I don't think we got quite close up enough because the hat was glued in place, but. This is a beautiful piece of work by Paul Fay. You look at it,
that's got a Bernie Wrightson look to it.
It looks like the Wrightson Frankenstein, especially without the nose, because the Wrightson Frankenstein is missing part of his nose.
Yeah.
I can't help thinking that the makeup artist that did this was well aware of images
Bernie Wrightson
stuff. Yeah. So. It's in several parts as well, this, isn't it? It's got its head, the hat, the body. It's got the bullets from the bandolero, which is separate. And it's also very typical of Paul. It's got a lovely little Fallout nameplate and a really nicely detailed, unassuming but suitable base there.
It's got like the Pepsi, like the little cola bottle on it and the credits. And then the hatch and that.
Yeah, it's based on a sort of the notion that a society...
Nuclear war, isn't it?
Yeah, it protects itself from a nuclear war, but tries to live a kind of a 1950s in a vault, and tries to live a 1950s existence, don't they? Right up to the point. Yeah. And I tell you what, this would look really good on. Who's the chap that does the wooden blocks? Who's coming to?
Pete Watson.
If you've got one of these and you get yourself a really nice bit of, I don't know, sort of walnut burr or a bit of maple from him, this is an ideal accompaniment to this, because what this needs is a nice wooden block.
Yeah.
And because I saw some posts from him the other day which showed you he's stocked up, hasn't he, on bases.
Pete's getting ready for the show.
Yeah, and Jason as well posted something showing the range of paints. So if you go onto the web, if you go onto UKGK, you'll see these things. You'll see the bases and the paints, which is just a little bit of an advert for them, because they are great people.
So this one's going to now available for ourselves. Yep. It'll be in grey resin. It will be available at the show. If you want one reserving or you want one sending before the show, give us a shout.
Can you get a pre-paint?
Yeah, Rachel's right. That's the next thing I'm going to mention. Rachel's decided, because we're appealing to different type of audience as well. There is going to be a table full of pre-paints for sale, so she is going to have some. She is going to have some pre-paints available on the day. So if you don't feel like painting it and you're not a painter and you're just coming along to marvel at some of these guys' paint jobs, check out Rachel's paint store with. At the day, she'll be the one looking mithered with a big furry teddy bear on the lead. No, that'll be me.
But obviously, the stuff that you'll see on that stall is second to none. So, but it's still, even if you see great painting, it's still worth having a go yourself.
Pop over, say hi to her. You know, she doesn't. She's not that scary, honestly.
Now this is another one we showed, which was in its sort of prototype form.
Now this one's going to be this one will get its show debut at UKGK. This is it's not a bust, it's a monster of a bust.
It's a monster of a bust.
There's a little tiny piece that goes on there first. It's neck collar.
The neck collar. Where's the neck collar?
You'll see
the neck collar.
Yeah, that goes
there. There you go, the neck collar. This is Millicent Patrick. She is the famous makeup designer which made the makeup for lots and lots of very famous monsters.
She designed the creature.
She's a very striking looking woman, and she's in a ball gown in this. But if you look at the publicity photographs of her, she often wore very early 50s kind of very glamorous clothing, even when she was doing a job. I think with female art director in those days, you had to power dress, didn't you?
Now we've cast this in the grey resin. Again,
it gives it that crispness, doesn't it?
It's got loads of bits on it. I mean, let's look at the creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yeah, this is one of those kits where you've got 4 or 5 focus points. I mean,
beautiful.
They got Dr. Jackal.
Show them that one.
Yeah, Dr. Jackal. There you go.
And then you've got the Metaluna Mutant.
Metaluna Mutant. These are the most famous ones. There's a Metaluna Mutant.
What's this guy here? Do you know?
You see, I can't remember. Isn't it? Well, I can't. We had this discussion. Did we say I married a monster from outer space? Was that what it was? I'm not quite sure. But this one. This is the Mole Men.
Yeah, there's loads.
And as well as ahead of this, you've got the mole claws. Now, look at that! Look at the detail on that.
Look at that!
Absolutely stunning. Who originally?
This was originally done by a friend of mine called Jesse Garcia. Yeah. And what we did is he had you may have seen on the internet, he had a lot of issues with his casters, so we held back as long as we could, and he never asked us, but we did it as a gentleman's agreement just to give him an heads up, so that so we held back as long as we could, so that before we put ours out, and we are now allowed to do it in Europe and the UK. So if anybody wanting this, contact us. Save yourself a ton load of shipping. It's a lovely piece. How many pieces would you say this?
Oh, there's 1, 2,
loads.
3, 4,
you get
5,
the little
6, 7,
and if you're
8,
lucky,
9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 pieces.
And then you've got the little earrings.
Yeah, because there's even little tiny engagement points on the ears for her to have her button earrings. Now, a lot of times that would be cast onto the head, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But this is so detailed and so lifelike, and to an extent, the beauty of sort of modern printing.
I mean, if you look at that, it's got kind of like a...
I know, that was a bit... It took my breath away when I saw it, to be honest with you.
It's got like a little...
There, it looked... When I looked in the box for this, I thought this was a folded piece of paper. Look at the precision cast. I mean, fair dues to Dave. Look at the precision cast on that. That looks like a folded piece of paper. Obviously.
And you were on about the arm, weren't you?
It's the way the arm. I thought that was like a little cast on pencil, but it's not. It's a location. It's a locator for the arm to fit in like this, and the other arm is designed for a pen to be holding it.
So you could be doing the drawing. You could draw the creature. So you could paint it white and then draw
a creature on with an ink in a permanent pen, couldn't you? Or you could sketch it on with Dr. Jekyll, or get a photograph of whatever.
Yeah,
but that is just lovely. And look at the way that the hand clasps that.
Beautiful.
And the beauty of it is, of course, is because it's a multi-part kit, there's no mistaking, because it's got such a great fit.
Yeah.
There's no mistaking it, because if you're if on an old school kit, if you were trying to put these three things together, or both arms and the sketch pad,
look at that.
You'd have had a hassle
Just
doing it. But look at how that is. Look at that. So
this is available through ourselves. Yep. It's available for pre-order to be collected at the show.
Yep.
If you pre-ordered it, you'll get it. I'll guarantee you'll get it. The reason I'm saying that, guys, is we've got such a lot of new fancy stuff coming out, which will lead us into it shortly after. If you're pre-ordering it, guys, that's the only way of guaranteeing it, because we've got such a lot of really nice stuff. We've got amazing stuff coming from Darren Kent. I'll just let Bill have a review of this. Now this, and we'll talk about new stuff after this one. Now this isn't a golden oldie. This is probably one of the kits that initially got me started. This is one of my favourite films.
That's one of mine as well.
As we get older,
that looks just like it.
It's Bill.
It's me.
As we get older, we identify with this film so much, don't you?
Mate,
this is me.
If I'm ever worried about what I need to do, I watch this movie and do exactly the opposite of what
I'll let you into a secret. When I watched this film, the first thing I did is go out and bought a pair of glasses like this guy. I don't know why. Ray-Bans do super.
They're just old-fashioned Ray-Bans.
Brilliant.
They're just, I mean...
Brilliant. Look at that. Joe Bailey.
It's
superb.
It's in the mould of the original. He did
Cape Fear.
And
look at this. That's cold cast.
That's cold cast.
It's
Here we go.
Can you hear that? Can you hear
it's solid. It's like stone in it. It's like a bit of marble, and it should be, because the man was made of stone, wasn't he?
Yeah. Because see this now. If you listen to this, like hold that. Listen. Can you hear that? Now,
there's some sort of mica powder or something in there?
This is that old. This is polyester resin. This stuff stinks and it shatters. This is that old that the white resin has actually changed colour.
Can I just show this? This is the beauty of a traditionally sculpted kit.
Joe Bailey.
By somebody that knows the anatomy of the human figure.
Joe Bailey.
Look at the back of that shirt.
Superb. And of course, you guys that don't know where it is, it's Michael Douglas from Falling Down.
Michael Douglas from Falling Down, one of the all-time classic,
brilliant film. If you
midlife crisis movies.
If you haven't seen it, guys,
I'm watching a lot of these lately, mate.
Yeah, I am as well. You just after the one with Steve, how would you? Yeah.
There's another film called The Swimmer with Burt Lancaster, a bit of an oddity. But if you want to watch middle-aged weirdo guys doing daft stuff, go and watch The Swimmer with Burt Lancaster. It's got an early appearance by Joan Rivers, but Burt Lancaster, Kirk Douglas, Michael Douglas.
This one's my favourite. This is my favourite. If no one's not seen this film, what have you been doing? Go and watch it. Go watch
Falling Down. It's just a treat.
It's just one of the best. I mean, when I asked Joe to do this yet again, this is the second sculpture, second release from Killer Kits all them years ago, and I've actually got an original copy of someone to keep and cherish. I mean, he's got now there's a story with this one. There's a story with this one, right, guys? There's a story. Let me put this myth to bed for all you guys over the other side of the pond. When we released this kit, Joe Bailey released this kit as it should be. So in this particular part of the film, when he's got the briefcase, he's actually got a baseball bat. He hasn't got the gun. Now, all you guys in the States have seen the DVD cover. If you all have a look at it, the gun has been airbrushed over the top to give it that added menace. So at this point in the film where he's got the baseball bat, people said it was, when it came out, people said it was because in the UK we're very conscious about guns. It isn't.
It's not really.
It isn't. It's nothing to do with that.
Well, we're not gun conscious because we don't have many of them.
Yeah.
So we just don't think of them in our daily lives. So we're not gun conscious.
Yeah. So Joe loves this film, and at this part in the film where he stood on the stones with the gang members, he hasn't got the guns at this point because he's got his, so that's the reason we did it with a baseball bat. It was released later to appease all these people with a gun, so we did do it with an optional gun. But now it's an interesting fact. Check out the video cover and DVD cover and look very closely at it. You'll see quite clearly that they've airbrushed a gun on it.
I was complaining earlier about going to the barbers and not being able to ask for what. That's me. I'm just going to take this and say to the barber, who goes, when he says in his Turkish accent, "What would you like?" I'm going to show him this little figure and say, "I want to look like Michael Douglas out falling down."
What was his number plate?
Oh, I can't remember. No.
Defence.
That's
what the kit was called.
Oh,
and if you look on the base, Joe's done like a square base. This gets customised quite a lot. Joe does a square base, and he's put all the bits and pieces on the base, almost like a Monopoly board. Look.
Right, there you go. Look at that. You see, this is typical of Joe. He says so much with so little.
Look at that base.
Because he's traditionally trained or trained himself through a traditional medium. He never overdoes anything. The base has got exactly what you need.
It's even got the flick knife on the base. Yeah. It's got all the bits on it.
It's got a little gun. It's almost like what Joe's done.
Burger.
He's got all the bits significant from the film, and he's made them into Monopoly parts, hasn't he? So when you usually have the dog and the car and the little boat and stuff like that. Here we've got the baseball bat, the whammy burger, the machine gun,
and the
flick knife, and it's just my favourite scene in that movie is when he goes into the
whammy burger
and says, "I'd like a breakfast," and she goes, "Well, I don't
want to be your friend, Rick."
I don't want to be your friend, Rick. I just want a breakfast. It's a bit like when you go into McDonald's and you want a breakfast wrap, and they look at you, and you've been in the queue for 5 minutes, and you get to the front and you say, "Can I have a breakfast wrap?" And they go, "Sorry, it's gone 11. We don't do breakfast wrap." And you go, "I just wanted a breakfast wrap." It's like it's just on.
I don't want to be your friend, Rick.
Yeah, I wonder how many times I've heard that. And then I end up going with the 6-piece chicken tenders. No, chicken tenders, you see.
I just want a little breakfast,
I just want a little breakfast, Rick.
Why am I calling you Rick? Well, I've worked for my boss for 10 years. I don't call him.
Yeah, exactly. Anyway.
We're getting carried away here, guys. We're getting carried away.
No, but we're getting carried away because we're looking at a classic sculpt from a classic movie. And something as simple as this, who would believe that would be a collectible resin kit? And it is, because it's superb.
That's the second one that we did. The first one we did was Falling Down, Robert De Niro, and then we did Defense.
Cape Fear.
Cape Fear. Then we did Falling Down, and Joe absolutely loved it. So that one's still available, guys. If you contact me, we're on about reissuing them all, maybe doing them in the nice grey resin. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
That in grey. Wow.
Well, I might do one of them in grey, and then we can see what it's like. But that's your classics. Back onto the show, guys. We're not far off.
Not far off now.
Killer Kits have got quite a bit coming out of the show. We've got some belting pieces by Andy Copeland. Andy's really pushed the stops out with the 2 releases. You've seen Bruce that we've done, but he's also got a special one that we're trying to show you a bit closer, just so tease you. Darren Kent's done 2 amazing sculptures. It's hurting me to keep these things out of the way, but they're stunning. You'll love these things. Please, guys, wait and see what these. Again, let me know as soon as you see them.
I am so proud.
What about that last one?
I've been able to contribute.
To the last one.
The big kit, with the base and the nameplates, and some odds and ends, instructions, graphics and stuff like that. I've actually contributed to it. I'm so proud. It's one of my pinnacles of my achievement in the sense that it's not just because what I've done, but it's who my stuff is going to be combined with.
We basically, I'll tell you the story behind it. Last time we did a Ray Harryhausen one, and we basically, everyone loved it. It was Andy Copeland, Paul Fay, and Steve Thompson. So we had the second one planned, and we decided to go. All I'm going to say, guys, is it's inspired by some of the greats. So it's a tribute kit, and it's inspired by some of the greats. We've got Steve on board, we've got Joe on board, we've got Bill on board, we've got Andy on board, we've got everybody on board with this. So expect a master. If you thought the last one was big, this one's bigger.
I can sum it up without telling anything about it, Dan.
Mm-hmm.
There's at least 8 parts of the overall finished piece that you could display
on their own. Yeah, it's a massive piece. Now this is going to be a limited run. The reason we're doing it as a limited run is it's a lot of kit.
It's massive,
and it's going to be it's going to be expensive in my books, but probably not expensive.
I don't think so. We've discussed this, and I think it's a bargain.
Okay, fair enough. And plus the fact I'm under the assumption it'll have all the whistles and bells. It's going to have a nice instruction sheet, nice box, nice goodies in it. People say, yeah, but Dave, you said and I said, yeah, but if someone was if you're eating ice cream every day, you would get fed up of it. So if we do this, if we do give it a special treatment once every so often, once a year, once every 2 years,
2 years
makes it special. Yeah. So this one's going to be a special one. Once it sells out, guys, it sells out. Yeah. So once, I know there are houses changing money for double what it was originally retail for. That one's gone now. It's unavailable. But it changes hands for double. I wish I hadn't discontinued it, but I have. So this one, when you see the pictures, guys, get on it.
Yeah, I think you want it, and you'll say, yeah, it's worth every penny, and you'll put it together, you'll paint it, and you'll spend lots and lots of time looking at it, thinking, can't believe that's that. I can't believe that this is in front of me.
Well, I basically, because I've seen it for a while and I've had to get all the bits to come together. I'm seeing the impact is lost on me now. But when you've seen it, you were like, yeah. And there are people that have actually seen it. Every person that's been to the store and seen it in progress, they've all said, yeah, I'm having it. I'm having it. So, and that's just in progress. It's a bit off yet, but I have every confidence that we'll have something over the next few weeks, or at least at the show you'll see.
A couple of little teasers, maybe.
We'll do some, yeah. When you get back off your jollies.
When I get back off my jollies, maybe do a few teasers.
We'll do a few teasers. We'll do a few teasers.
We really don't want to spoil a surprise for you. I know we're talking about it like we're trying to. I'm not even trying to promote it. I'm just trying to.
You were gobsmacked, weren't you?
I'm just trying to. I mean, I'm an enthusiastic guy. I'm an enthusiastic guy. It's part of my character. I'm an enthusiastic guy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it's wrong. But at the end of the day, when I look at it, I get this cheesy grin break out on my face like I was a kid looking at my first rally chopper. Nice. Up to that rally chopper on Christmas morning, my ultraviolet.
What colour?
Ultraviolet with the gear shift.
Yeah.
Beautiful. And my face lit up because I thought this is the most beautiful vehicle I've ever seen. Yeah. I got that looking at this kit.
I had a red one
before it was even finished.
I had a red one.
You had a red one.
Red and yellow. My chopper, red and yellow. Yeah. And then I bought a Recon one, Mark II. When I got divorced, just to annoy everybody. Never rolled it.
And left it in the hall.
And then I left it in the garage and sold it. I don't know why I did that.
The second version had a slightly curved section on the back. The first one was the back wheel on the bit where where the hub goes into the frame was perpendicular like that. Yeah. And then the Mark II had a curve on it.
That's it.
Because the weld was breaking on the straight one.
I had a red and yellow one, and like I say, when I got divorced, I went and bought a Recon, all really, really nice, and I was just like, and then I got it, and I thought, why have I bought that? I'm never going to ride it.
No, I know, but they're lovely looking machines. I mean, my mate had a pale blue one. I remember him pulling a wheel
Rally choppers, guys.
And the bearing failing and the wheel spinning.
You've never lived until you've
seen one.
Till you've hit the curb and crashed your man's bits on the crossbar.
Got wedged between.
Never lived, mate. Never lived.
Wedged between the handlebars.
You know what I did when I got divorced? The first thing I did, I thought this was funny, but I don't. Tell me if you guys think this is funny. I still think it's funny now, but maybe I'm warped. I decided to get all the old retro
stuff that you know
aftershaves, Blue Stratos, Old Spice, and I thought, well, I'm single now, so I've got all these really rubbish aftershaves, and I put them on the top window in my bathroom. So I had Brute, Ulster, Denim, all that rubbish. They cost a fortune now. Yeah, karate, and I had them all there at the top, like. And I just thought, how cool was that? And then this girl came round and said, you don't wear that rubbish.
Well, I'm a big fan of Old Spice. Come on, I still think Old Spice smells absolutely beautiful. Old Spice.
Manly smell. That
manly smell.
That WD-40 and Swarthega.
You know, it's like you get the same thing like a shaving soap, you know, when you used to lather it with the brush years ago. And that, My response to getting divorced, I bought a load of Roy Orbison albums, which are miserable as hell.
Yeah.
I listened to Roy Orbison and I drank whiskey for about 3 months.
And I bought crap after
and you bought crap aftershave. and then after 3 months I'd broken the spell and I went out and I thought, yep.
But how expensive are them rubbish aftershaves?
Well, there's no such thing as rubbish aftershave now. I mean, it's the same as like when a haircut used to cost you 10 bob and now it costs you 17 quid. A bottle of Aramis now, if they still make it, it probably costs us like 3 quid in a day, but now it's probably about 50
20, 30 quid, 50 quid maybe.
Yeah, there's a retro popularity about these
I was dead surprised how much high karate was. It's like antifreeze. It's like bright yellow. Remember when the older you guys, you'll remember this, and please comment. Years ago at Christmas, the old country stunk of brute, didn't it?
We had splash it all over, and they did.
You smelt like an old wrestler, didn't
you?
You know?
And if you were lucky, you also had brute soap on a rope. Not that anybody had a shower, of course, but you could hang it over your tap.
And them taps with it, we used to put on the end of the
rubber things that you put on to wash your hair over the sink.
That we haven't got now.
We haven't got. No, there's a little thing called Legionella disease. That's
them were the days, mate. It was simpler, wasn't it?
Simpler life.
So anyway, back to that was two grumpy old man talking rubbish. So what? Bill's away on his jollies now.
We'll be in the next week.
He's going to
Denver, United States.
So if
I'm going to dress as a cowboy, but I'm going to be careful where I hang around.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Super.
Those leather pants are going to chafe, mate.
It'll be like Brokeback Mountain, won't it?
Brokeback Mountain. What a name for a film, eh?
Anyway, guys, it was lovely chatting to you. We're going to get Gary in next week. Gary's going to fill in for Bill. He's going to do the memo days with us. So we're going to go back and do have a few chats about memos and looks at a few bits pieces. Thanks for all the kind words, guys. We do appreciate it. Smash a like, subscribe to the channel. We hope we've been entertaining, guys. So. Be safe.
Yeah.
And take care, guys.
Of yourselves. It's lovely to see you. Bye-bye.
Hey, all our friends over there across the pond. We're here across the pond in the U.S. giving you a little different perspective on what we would normally do as Kirk Cullimore and Stephen Cullimore. Today we're out here on one of our ponds, if you will, our lake, enjoying it. And this is where, funny part about this is where a lot of times we take advantage of this good 3 months a year here in Michigan where we get this super weather. And we enjoy it, you know, we can do this. And we actually take our passion, our hobby passion, and we bring it out here and we bring it into wet sand and prep kits, you know, when needed. And here we have Steve prepping a kit.
Working on an obscure piece, Willard, sculpted by my dad. Really cool base. Got a bunch of rats on the bottom. It's the only one I've ever seen, too. It was his first sculpt that he did out of, Daz clay?
Daz, yeah.
Yeah, it was Daz.
Good old Daz.
Old Daz.
Nope.
Well, yeah,
learning curve.
Trying to get the marks on.
But the base was Abe's epoxy, all the rats. So that one's still available if interested. It's quarter scale.
It's got like
just contact me.
Like a Tim Burton look to it. It's interesting.
Now I was working on another one earlier, just a little bit of one from Shadow Creations, cave crawler from the movie The Descent, 2005, The Descent. Show that one, Steve. So. Yeah.
Oh, cool piece. He's coming right out of the ground. Somebody escaped.
Yeah,
I wonder who that is.
Arms there, and this is our little makeshift workbench. You appreciate that. Keeps the sandpaper and the files wet.
Yeah, it works out just fine too. You can get that one from Troy. Still has it available.
Yeah, contact him if you're interested. It's a great movie. Nice piece, very nice piece.
If you haven't checked out the movie, check it out because it makes a great movie for 2000s, early 2000s, like 2020, 2005, I believe.
Yeah, 2005.
Came out, yeah. Great piece.
So we've enjoyed bringing these little, everybody doing their little thing. This is what they call the Lakers, because as you can see with Steve, you get your tan above your waist. Everything else is still pretty white because it's underneath the water. But hopefully you enjoy this. You guys are doing good over there. Can't wait to see you next time around. Thanks. Bye.